I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's a thriving online health coach, no other than Mr. Jack Sorensoni.
How's it going?
Fabulous, fabulous, Mr. Jack. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So my name is Jack Sorensen, owner of Sorensen Fitness. So we are an online health coaching company that works mainly with busy entrepreneurs, business owners, engineers, any real high performing, busy professionals. And the goal is to make it so they stop using time as an excuse and create a long lasting, healthy lifestyle. So they stop hitting the restart button over and over again. I'm a former engineer, turned all full time online health guru, more or less. So that's what I got. That's what I do.
How guru, I like that, Mr. Jack. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about helping high performing entrepreneurs and business owners transform their bodies and lives through sustainable health practices.
hmm
So, tell us, high performers are used to optimizing systems for results. How do you help them to shift from seeing their health as another KPI to grasp a sustainable practice of self care without losing the driven edge?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of stems a little bit from my story. So I guess I'll kind of explain that and then kind of lean a little bit into it. So I am a former engineer, studied mechanical engineering in college. And so when I started in the engineering world, there was just everyone knew how to hustle and like what's the next sprint. I was in the automotive industry, so it was very fast paced, constantly like what's the next thing, what's the next thing. I was also in the self-driving car industry, which is like constantly just like trying to update the software to be the next big thing. And so I knew and saw that there was this a big issue with just people not taking care of themselves. And at this time, I lost 80 pounds and was starting to do some sort of health coaching. This was about 6 years ago. Um, and started just helping people. And then as I started getting a little bit more into entrepreneurship, I had some real estate as well. I started getting into different entrepreneurship groups. I realized that entrepreneurs are arguably worse with their health than people with in the engineering world, just because it's like literally just it's a never ending whirlwind. So the way I kind of get through to them, like I said, like, or if you can more or less just explained, is making it feel similar in a way, like relating what they know. Everyone knows their KPIs. Everyone knows what they need to do each and every week to kind of keep the needle moving, to keep the lead flows coming, to have any kind of income coming in. They know exactly what they need to be doing. So kind of leaning into that and creating a little bit of a mental system where they're like, okay, so if I do this and I do this and I do this, I will be successful. But the reason why most people fall off at some point is because they're probably doing too much than they can handle, and they compare themselves to maybe a previous version of themselves that had plenty of time. So hustlepreneurs and even engineers and just people who are busy professionals like know how to work hard, and they try to like kind of take that into their health journey where they're like, okay, I'm just gonna like throw a bunch of volume at things, like go 4 or 5 days a week for hours on end, and then they can sustain it for a little bit, but then they overhaul their life. They go over the top, a little bit too complicated, too much time, and then they wonder why they crash and burn in 2 months, and they think, "Oh, health's not for me. I can't get in shape. It's just too hard." And so, what I do to these people to get through to them is I kind of when you are going through a busy phase of business or life, like, do you ever go to zero with your business? And they're like, "No, never." I'm like, "You still find a way to show up, right?" They're like, exactly. So I'm like, I
The,
want to get through
yes,
the different phases of life. You know,
yes,
they need to be able to get through the different phases of life. Hopefully my connection's a little bit better now. I think that's what happened there. Um, but yeah, so the goal is to make it so you start and don't stop, right? So like similar to someone's business or trying to build it or scale it is like if they go to zero, if they stop showing up, like the lead flow stops, the income stops coming in. So similar approach where the goal is just to start, not stop. So most of the time, we're doing less than they think they need to be doing. So it's like often less is more, right? Almost always. So I do like less forever or a very intense and over the top for, you know, temporarily, more or less. So that's kind of the strategy we look for, and what we kind of push on to clients, and just really everyone I tell is that you just got to focus on how do you start and never stop this journey, just like you do with pretty much every other avenue in life, where you want to keep going, you want to keep growing your career, you want to keep growing that business. You need to go in a way that is actually sustainable. And when you do go crazy intensity, over the top, super busy, health lifestyle, you might pivot a little bit, do a little bit less, but the goal is just to show up in some way and do something rather than nothing instead of going to zero. So, I mean, I could talk forever about this stuff, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Yes, and thank you so much for that empowering answer, Mr. Jack. These individuals are masters of delegation in business. How do you help them understand that they can hire a chef or a trainer, or they can delegate the act of eating mindfully, sleeping, or managing stress?
Yeah, so it's more of like a simple of systems. So like most of the times, like when you're trying to grow a business, you're going to simplify systems. You don't want to keep them uber complicated. So mostly one, you're going to be handing things off, like you said, making things super easy for people to make decisions for you to get your time back. But you're just also finding a way to get from point A to point B without this crazy amount of stuff going on. So we have various different systems or mental systems that I put people through. From a food perspective, yeah, you could order, if you want to. You could do some sort of meal service, sure, to take the guesswork out. But I kind of like to teach someone and understand what they're actually putting in their body instead of just like clicking order and then just eating. Because they need to, in order to actually stick with it for a long period of time, you need to know, you need to learn and understand, macros more or less, how to fuel your body, stuff like that. So how I do it is, someone tells me their favorite food, what their go tos are, what they enjoy. And then I essentially want to recreate someone's staple meal. So every single person, let's say nutrition specifically, but every single person more or less has the same food that they eat, and they rotate through each and every week. You probably are eating similar stuff, right? And so the goal here is to kind of recreate those that actually serve you and fuel you and actually get you to the goals that you're looking for. And so when we do that, then we eat it on repeat, more or less. So like start of a week, let's say, I say, hey, you don't have time to make decisions for breakfast and lunch constantly. You're on the go. It's like on Sunday, decide what you're going to have for breakfast and lunch for the entire week. You might change some spices around to change it up, whatever. But like you need to like just get over that hurdle of just like, okay, like 2/3 of your entire week's worth of food is already decided for you the start of the week. So that makes it so you just, it's almost like automatic that you get through your day. You're getting through your day with a similar amount of energy, a similar amount of fuel, right? And it just takes all of the guesswork out, all of it, because you already know what you're going to be going into. And it would helps a lot with energy levels too, because a lot of the time people that fall asleep after a 2 or 3 p.m. is because they're probably eating too much carbs or something along those lines at lunch, and then you just like fall asleep. So but that's like the big system for that, in terms of nutrition. And then similar with like, let's say training. So like my goal is to make your life as easy as humanly possible. So you're going to tell me how much your time frame, um, your experience level, and then creating a program that actually is catered to your time frame. Because the unfortunate situation with a lot of people is they might buy a program online, or whatever, find something, and it's like might be an hour and a half, right? But you don't have an hour and a half, you have 45 minutes. So it's like you're just trying to just do whatever. So like having a plan that's actually like catered to you, being real with yourself of how much time you can actually have, or actually spend in a gym or being active, and then committing to that. And often it's also like being real with yourself of how much you can actually handle in a week too. Like that's one of the biggest, excuse me, one of the biggest conversations I have with people at the beginning of any sort of coaching or just talking to them. It's like, okay, like in your busiest weeks, like how much can you truly do? And like, okay, like twice a week. I'm like, okay, then why are we trying to do four and like force in four? Well, like, oh, but I have a free week. I'm like, the goal is to make it so that your open weeks are absolute walk in the park, so you can like focus on your business, focus on your life. But then on the super busy weeks, you can still handle and show up. So I guess every single avenue does have like their own little system, but the goal is to take out guesswork, make it super simple to the point where it's like you can do it in your sleep, right? And then just making it uber like repeatable and just really easy to be consistent. But yeah. That I would say that those are the ways. Yeah.
That's the ways indeed. And let's talk about the risk and versus reward. How do you frame the investment in health not as the way from business, but as the ultimate risk mitigation strategy for the
Mhm.
most important asset for the
Yeah.
capacity to lead?
So, most people say they claim they do grow a business or do a career for their family. They want to do it for their family. But to really open someone's eyes, you have to be like, okay, you do all that for yourself, but what happens when you're just dwindling away? Your energy's down. You're after your job, right? After a long day of work, or you can't even like pay attention to your family, right? You can't even pay attention. So it's like opening their eyes, like you are doing everything for them, right? So you need to also take care of your health for them, right? So you can be your best version of you. So that's kind of how I really try to open their eyes, and then also like explaining like the why behind it. Like everyone's got a why, a vision for their business. All right, but for some reason they don't have one for their health, and I just ask people to think bigger and deeper than just I want to do this for weight loss. I want to do this, whatever, like very transactional thinking. I am doing this just for weight loss. Because once the weight loss happens, what happens after that? So it's like I want to have more energy so I can hang around with my kids after work. I want to be around longer so I can actually, meet my grandkids or not be in pain when I'm trying to keep up with them, yada yada. So it's like creating a true and utter, real and almost scary why, to ensure that like they can remind themselves and actually paint that picture for themselves. And the tough thing with health, right, it was selling it more or less, is that there's no ROI per se in terms of monetary, right? So you have to, like build that picture, like that vision for yourself of like what that life looks like for you when you are healthier. What can you do? How do you feel? Right. And then what do you got to do to get there? Right. So that's kind of how I open people's eyes and understand like, hey, like if you don't take care of yourself, like you're going to be waiting for that phone call or that call from your doctor or that talk with your doctor saying that you need to lose a bunch of weight or you won't live for 5, 10 more years. It's like no one wants that, right? You don't want to have to start going on drugs, when you're 50, 60 years old with the hope that it's going to take a bunch of weight off. You want to start now. It's all about the habits and the lifestyle, right? So just thinking bigger than just I am doing this for weight loss. And when you think that way, you're like, oh, okay, so if I do that and just keep showing up, I'll get to the results. And I'm like, exactly. It's like eventually you will get to the results as long as you find a way to keep showing up and just finding a path that you can truly handle. So yeah.
Truly, truly handle, Mr. Jack, and tell us the time blocking for health. These clients live by their calendar. What
Yep.
does an effective health block look like on a busy CEO schedule
Yep.
that goes beyond just 1 hour workout?
Yeah. So, oh man, the amount of calendars I've audited and just checked have like you can find time. And so yes, you'll have a time block of an hour, whatever, or so for workouts for sure. But what I also like recommend people do is like with walking, for example, a big part of your metabolism and just like your daily burn and your energy levels is how much you move in a day. Okay, how much you move in a day. So I often tell people to edit meetings that they think that they can actually take a walk during, right? Because they just need to start moving more. A CEO, you probably can't go to the gym 5 days a week, so you could probably go maybe once, twice, maybe three if you're super, super like, lucky with some time or you can time block things off, whatever. But regardless, you have to be very meticulous with your time outside of the gym and almost doing things in pairs. So it's like if you do not need to be glued to your screen and taking notes and you can take it walking, label it. Right. So it's almost like, okay, got it. Like I can actually get up and go for a walk during this one, like telling yourself, giving yourself that permission to go for that walk. So that's what I did when I was an engineer, when I was in engineering. Like if there was not a reason for me to be just on my desk and just taking notes, whatever, like I would one obviously ask the people around me if it's okay, but two, just go for that walk, right? Go for that walk and then find ways just to keep movement around in your day. Like if you are, for example, eating lunch and you have an hour blocked or 40, 30 minutes blocked, it's like, how long does it take to actually eat that food? 5, 10 minutes, right? And then most people just, talk to people, whatever, sit on their phone. I'm like, I urge you just to get up and move because one, it helps with energy levels throughout the rest of the day, but it's also, once again, it's like doing things in pairs. You have to try to find a way to just do things in unison or in pairs to make it so it's much easier to move. Because a CEO that's moving 3,000 steps a day will have very low energy, not, struggle with digestion, might be struggling with their weight, right? But if they can all of a sudden get those steps up to, let's say, 8,000 just because they started to move more, it would be absolutely life changing within a month or two if they just continuously manage to do that each and every day. So, from a movement standpoint, obviously just doing that. And then from, let's say, a food standpoint, it's just understanding, like, actually time blocking when you can start thinking about eating food, because time gets away from you 100%. You start working into the night. Holy crap, I haven't eaten yet. So you just need a little bit of alerts throughout your day, like eat food. Or even, for the longest time myself, when I was getting this business off the ground, I literally would just have alarms for every single meal, because it's like a little reminder of, like, hey, eat, fuel up, and that goes a long way. And those are the little things that you just often need to do, which is a little reminders, those little nudges throughout the day, or like giving yourself permission to, like, go for that walk during that call. Because often, like, you're not thinking that way. So even editing the title, like walk and talk, something like that, super easy. But that's how I get most of my steps in my days. I do, I have a bunch of calls, and if I don't need to be glued to my screen taking notes or anything, like, I am going for a walk. I prefer that. It helps my mind, and then also it just makes it so I can actually move, because I am at my desk all day if I don't do that. So, but yeah, that's how we do it.
If you were present their current health status for the board of directors, what single metric would you be most leading indicator of failure breakdown and why?
Oh man, I mean, the obesity rate's a problem. I mean, it's like 4 out of 10, upwards of maybe even more now, of Americans are obese, which is just, I mean, that's enough telling. I think there's just so much people not moving, and we're just going to a very virtual world. And so everyone's just at their desks more. And so it's more important than ever to really find, time just to move in your day just a little bit more. But that's hands down the biggest one. Not even close. Yeah.
So, what the limited time and energy? What is the single most impactful health habit? The biggest bang for their back?
Yeah. It's going to be nutrition, like, hands down, like understanding food. That's alone, like, I mean, movement's very, very, very important. It is, but you really can't outwork what you eat. You can put down copious amounts of calories and food within 5 minutes. So it's just really building the right habits around nutrition. And, like, the way I just simplify it is, like, find a way to add quality into your life instead of just, like, restrict, restrict, restrict. It's like, how do you add more protein, quality carbs, quality fats? And then, you know, just by doing that alone, you'll slowly stop eating as much junk. But you need to actually try to add, tracking food for the first time ever, like actually trying to track food and understanding and just knowledge, like just doing a real audit. Like, the way I like to tell it to people is, like, when you have a financial problem going on, whether it's your business, whatever, you go to a financial advisor, you have someone, an outside source, do a little bit of an audit of where the hell money is going. So it's like, do that with your food. If you are struggling with your weight, right? If you are, you need to know what the hell you're actually putting in your body. You have to, because that's the only way to know what to do next. You can't just throw a bunch of things at the wall and hopefully it'll figure it out. Like, that is one of the single most bang for your buck things, hands down. It's not even close. Not even close. So, yeah.
Interesting, Mr. Jack. And as a thriving online health coach, what are your short term and long term goals?
Oh, man. Short term, well, the goal, I'm already living the dream. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of lifestyle flexibility, which is unbelievable, and I get to do what I love and impact lives. Like, I've completely built my business on just impacting and helping for free, and a lot of pay it forward. Um, so, in terms of, like, let's say business, sure. Like, short term would be scaling my team. I have 2 coaches right now, and so the goal is I can only help so many people. And I had a ton of clients early this year, and it's not that I was getting super maxed out, but if I went any further, I would have just had no time for other things. And I just really want to impact as many lives, because my whole brand is about sustainable approach, really ensuring someone starts and don't stop. And that's like the biggest enemy. It really is. So I'm trying to build out a team, full up the rosters, and really just have an awesome, awesome group of just great people that were just transforming their lives. So that's like the short term. But my big goal, like a big vision, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, is to build more of a B2B style business. So like I do B2C right now, but I'd love to go back to my roots of engineers and just honestly go back and go and do the what like health challenges and do things the right way. Because when I was an engineer, the health challenges I went through in the different companies that I worked for were kind of just a joke. I'll be honest with you, just a lot of half-ass. People would try to present, but the energy was low. There's no real stake. There's nothing to really win or get excited for. It was just kind of a laughing stock. There was no way to really attract and make people want to participate. And I really want to go out in a different direction and really help as many people as possible. So the goal is just to build out my team, get a bit more of my time back, and then the team would be my internal squad essentially to then go into this B2B offer and then just blow that up. So I can help as many people as possible with the right way of doing health because there's just so much misinformation nowadays that people just don't even know what to do at this point. You'd think in 2025, with the amount of data we have, information, tools, that it would be the easiest, but it's actually the most complicated because everyone's claiming they're right, that their thing is the right way to do it, whatever, or saying this other idea is wrong or whatever. So it's just like, I really just want to be part of like the leading charge of like bringing back like real sustainable health and doing things the right way. So, yeah.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Jack, and looking forward for more success. So, can you give a piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Like me, just keep trying, man. I don't know. I don't know. I got very, very good at showing up. I'm nothing special in terms of like I'm not the smartest person ever. I'm not like some freaking social media guru, all that. I've just kind of continued just to show up, take action, pivot, show up, take action, pivot, and just keep going. And so I would say that's just like something that everyone should do is like your worst case scenario is your present day reality. What I mean by like really your worst case of something happening, you going in on something, whatever is right now. So in reality, just give it a shot. So I just keep taking action, keep trying. Um, and the worst things, worst case scenario, like I said, is just going back to what you're doing before. So, but yeah, I would say that would be it.
Yes, thank you for that advice. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh man, I'll give two. So a big driver for me when I was starting to get going in the entrepreneur world is this book called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Just an awesome book, and he's just a super cool dude. But it's just a lesson of like recognizing where there's opportunity and when there's time to rest and pivot. And it just like really, really opened my eyes of like when there's something in front of me, like go after it, like go hard. And then there will be sometimes signals where you do need to maybe pump the brakes or just pivot or just coast a little to recoup. And I mean, I had that situation recently when I moved from New York City to Florida. Um, it's just like the business had to pivot a little bit. I had to change what I was doing just because of just like a big life change. And that was like a yellow light. But then now I see another green light right now. So I'm like, I'm ready to rock. Like I'm going. So it's just such a good book. And the next one is Gap in the Gain. Um, Such an unbelievable book. So good. Just really helped me as I was growing my business of just, you know, knowing where I want to go, but also like reflecting and being proud of where I'm coming from. Like the quick analogy they make in that book is, like let's say you're going to the movies, for example, with a significant other or friend, and it's like you're 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late. Someone that's living in the gap, they're thinking, oh my God, I will miss 10 minutes. It's the worst thing ever. And it affects their whole experience. Whereas the one that's living in the gain, is thinking, you know what, but I'm here with my friend. I still have plenty of time to watch this movie, and just thinking positively. So it's just like constantly reflecting, and it's really helped me um just stay more present, be happy where I'm coming from, and then also just think forward, but not get like too caught up in the weeds mentally of like where I'm not just yet. So those would be my hands down two best books to get going and reading on, especially if you're struggling from a more mindset. point of view. Not necessarily tactical business advice in there, but from a mindset standpoint, like total game changer for both of those for sure. Yeah.
Yes, so Mr. Jack, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast is law 101 and mental health 101, love letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Jack, if you could get every high performing entrepreneur to believe one fundamental truth about connection between their body and their business empire, what would it be?
How to start, just focus on starting and not stopping. How to keep showing up. Literally just find a way to keep showing up. It might be less than you think, but keep showing up. That's it.
Keep showing up and consistency, people. Consistency in
Exactly.
everything you do. Mr. Jack Sorensoni, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Thank
So,
you.
can you please invite the listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, shoot me a follow on Instagram at Sorensen Fit. That would be appreciated big time. Let me know that you've come from the pod. That'd be really, really cool. And if you're trying to learn more about what my business is, the offer SorensenFitness.com. Easy enough.
Yes, people, easy enough. Let's support Mr. Jack Sorensen because if we support him for sure, more and more empowering, thriving online health coaching to come, more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Mr. Jack, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
More to come, people. See you soon.